Good evening. He's on his way and the police say they are ready for anything. Within the next few hours, Donald Trump will be arriving in London for the start of his controversial second state visit. First stop, Regent's Park, where the US president will spend the night. And then it's on to Windsor, where the main events are taking place. Officers from the Met and Thames Valley Police say the skies, the streets and the Thames are all totally secure. Here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
The American ambassador's home in Regent's Park is surrounded. Police officers, spaced 50 yards apart, stand guard outside a temporary security fence. The only gap is for the public toilets, which are staying open. Electricians have been laying cables to keep the perimeter lit by powerful floodlights. The security operation and the VIP visitor came as a surprise to many in the park today. Do you know what all this fencing is about?
No, I don't know.
President Trump is spending the night behind there.
I had no idea. I do wonder what they're doing that for.
He's a head of state and he's here on a state visit and, hopefully they'll do good things for the country, so we should be supportive of it.
Last time he came, there were a couple of these huge multi-million-dollar helicopters encircling over the tennis court, and it looked like something out of Predator or some horrible sci-fi movie.
Is he going to use that loo, you think?
No, he's staying in the big house behind the toilet.
Oh, that's much nicer.
Police sniffer dogs were used to search part of the park before it was sealed off to keep the public and any protesters well away from where Donald Trump will spend the night. Even when the president isn't staying the night, Winfield House is one of the best protected mansions in London. Tonight, the presidential bodyguard will include armed officers from the Met and American Secret Service agents. The security planners will be mindful of two attempts to shoot the president last year, but as well as snipers, they'll also factor in the threat from drones.
We have to look at what's happening in Ukraine and the new weapons and the defences. So the drone swarms, but also super fast missiles.
Tomorrow, the focus of the security operation will switch to Windsor, where the president will be hosted by the King and Queen before spending the night in the castle. Tomorrow, we'll also see an anti-Trump protest, not in Windsor, but in London.
It's not in our interest in any way, shape or form to try to suck up to Donald Trump. He's not a reliable ally, and giving him these honours is to normalise the extremely not normal kind of president that he is.
As a curtain raiser, one group unfurled a large picture of President Trump with the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein within sight of the castle. In Washington, the president praised his hosts.
Charles, as you know, who's now king, is my friend. And it's the first time this has ever happened where somebody was honoured twice, so it's a great honour.
And with that, the president was on his way. Tonight, the security of the most powerful politician in the world will be entrusted to the Thin Blue Line.
Well, Simon is outside the US ambassador's residence now. Simon, can you talk us through what's happening over the next 24 hours?
Yes, Yasmin, the president is currently mid-Atlantic on board Air Force One and he's due to land at Stansted later this evening. From there, he'll be flown in what amounts to an aerial cavalcade of military helicopters from Stansted to Winfield House here in Regent's Park. He won't make his way to Windsor until tomorrow morning, again by helicopter. That way there's no danger of any protesters getting anywhere near any presidential motorcade.
And he's seems pretty happy about being hosted at Windsor Castle rather than Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, he seemed dead chuffed when he spoke to reporters in Washington earlier. He talked about it being at Windsor, not Buckingham Palace, where state visits are normally held, and suggested it was because Windsor was the ultimate, as he put it. We're also expected to hear from the mayor tomorrow, who looks likely to reignite his feud with Donald Trump. He's expected to write in a newspaper article that other politicians should speak out against the far right, and he's likely to criticise the president. One final security note, Thames Valley Police have announced this evening that 2 people have been arrested for flying drones in the air exclusion zone around Windsor.
OK, for now, Simon, thank you. Good evening. He may have had a right royal welcome from the King and Queen today, but Donald Trump's arrival in the UK has been met with a barrage of criticism from London's mayor. So Sadiq Khan has reignited his war of words with the US president, accusing him of fueling divisive far-right politics. Trump, though, appeared blissfully unaware of any ill feeling, enjoying today's ceremony safely behind the walls of Windsor Castle. Our political correspondent Simon Harris is there. Simon.
Yasmin, Windsor is perhaps second only to London when it comes to putting on royal pageants, and Donald Trump got the full works today. There were processions, parades, marching bands, salutes and a flypast. Downing Street and the palace will no doubt be relieved that it went largely without a hiccup. But there was also that unexpected heckle from the sidelines from Sadiq Khan. Donald Trump flew into Windsor and straight into another public spat with London's mayor. The government was desperate for this diplomatic charm offensive to stay on track, and the royal family rolled out the red carpet for the VIP visitor. Sir Sadiq Khan's intervention was at the very least unhelpful. This is the front page headline in The Guardian, where the mayor chose today to reignite his feud with the president. In the paper, he writes, Donald Trump and his coterie have fanned the flames of divisive far-right politics. He went on scapegoating minorities, illegally deporting US citizens, deploying the military to the streets of diverse cities. These actions aren't just inconsistent with Western values, they're straight out of the autocrat's playbook.
Sadiq Khan is a student politician. He's not a serious person, and he's done great damage to our capital city. This continued throwing of stones at an important ally is just absolute standard Sadiq. The president travelled from helicopter to castle in a horse-drawn carriage along a route lined only by military personnel.
There he was treated to the full state visit ceremonial. The president and first lady alongside the king and queen. Windsor's perfectly manicured lawns betraying no sign of the summer drought. As he inspected the guard of honour, he may have cast his mind back to the last time. Then it was the king's mother at his side. All this took place inside the castle walls, away from the public gaze. Outside there was little to see apart from TV news crews and lots of police, some of them armed. But it didn't stop some sightseers turning up, hoping perhaps for a glimpse at least of the president's helicopter. Alana is a student at a sixth form college in Windsor and came proudly wearing her MAGA cap.
Yeah. I love him. I think he's a great man. I like his views on deportation. I think he is a good man altogether.
I think that his views on deportation and his views on other races is not good at all. I think it's quite horrible, in my opinion.
He's a great man. He's a great fella. I call him Daddy Trump. People have been crucifying me for calling him Daddy Trump. He's the best president ever.
Steve is definitely not a fan. The chair of Windsor Pride claims the president's policies on diversity and inclusion in the States are affecting the sponsorship of some pride events in this country.
There's companies that are American who have offices in the UK and Europe, and worldwide it's done significant damage to other pride organisations who heavily rely on doing a free event, but it's paid for by sponsorship and things like that, so everyone's had to scale back.
Security might be tight, but it didn't stop a stunt last night when pictures of Trump and the convicted paedophile Jeffrey Epstein were projected onto the castle walls. Thames Valley Police arrested 4 men on suspicion of malicious communication.
To be honest, it would be very, very difficult to prevent or stop something like this, which could be deployed from a distance and therefore outside of potentially the perimeter of security around Windsor Castle.
There was more pageantry this afternoon, and despite the grey sky and low cloud, a flypast from the Red Arrows.
Simon, the day's not over yet, though, is it? What's on Trump's itinerary for later?
Well, Yasmin, after a day of ceremonies, the president and his royal hosts are getting ready for the feast. That's the official state banquet, the one that's being boycotted by Sir Ed Davey, the Liberal Democrat leader, over Gaza. For the first time, we're expected to hear from the president at that event, but I doubt he'll mention the mayor. Tomorrow, the Trumps go their separate ways after spending the night at Windsor. The First Lady has some engagements with the royals. The president is off to Chequers for a joint news conference with the Prime Minister. For security reasons, almost everything that happened today has taken place on the royal estate, and for that reason, there have actually been very few protesters in Windsor today. It's been a very quiet town.
OK, Simon, thank you.
Good evening. Sadiq Khan has broken ranks with the government and the Labour Party on Gaza by describing what is happening there as a genocide. He made the comment at a People's Question Time event last night, echoing the conclusion of a UN commission earlier this week. Israel denies there is a genocide in Gaza. London's mayor is now accused of deepening division in the capital, as well as adding to political tensions during US President Trump's state visit. With the latest, here's our political correspondent, Simon Harris.
I think what's happening in Gaza is a genocide.
London's mayor is the most senior Labour politician to publicly call the humanitarian crisis in Gaza a genocide. Israel's advance has been condemned by governments around the world, but the British government doesn't think it amounts to a genocide. The mayor quoted the International Court of Justice and the United Nations.
When I read the interim judgment of the ICJ and then see a UN Commission report this week, I think it's inescapable to draw the conclusion in Gaza we are seeing before our very eyes a genocide.
He was speaking at an event where the public can question him and members of the London Assembly.
I'm pleased and relieved that the mayor is finally calling it exactly what it is. It is a genocide. We have known that for months now. The UN have told us, genocide scholars have told us, and it's taken the mayor far too long to get there.
Sadiq made no mention of the appalling terrorist attack on the 7th of October, which is really what kicked all of this off. And I don't think we can understand what's going on without remembering that. And secondly, from that day to this, there remain people who were taken hostage and are still being held hostage.
And there was an angry response from London's Jewish community. The Jewish Leadership Council said in a statement, "We all share concerns about the humanitarian situation in Gaza, but the mayor's inaccurate and offensive language only deepens division. Many Jewish Londoners no longer feel represented by their mayor."
Thank you for joining us on The Brink.
In a studio in Barnes in West London, former Jewish Chronicle editor Jake Wallace-Simons was recording the first episode of a new podcast.
Sadiq Khan is a man of the political left. He wants popularity. He's got a political career to think of. And sadly, the way to get popularity on the left is to side with the Palestinians, de facto with Hamas, I would argue, although not explicitly, obviously. So he's doing so for popularity.
At a joint news conference with the American president, Sir Keir Starmer said what was happening in Gaza was intolerable. The government's expected to recognise Palestine as a state in the coming days.
I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score. Okay? One of our few disagreements, actually.
Mr. Trump made no mention of Sadiq Khan, who yesterday accused the president of fanning the flames of division. Late this afternoon, the president's state visit came to an end as he flew out from Stansted on Air Force One. Simon Harris, ITV News.